The typical family needs to understand that they need to be patient. Mental illness is something that you really need to adjust to. It affects a family very deeply whenever a family member does suffer from a mental illness. And it's something that we typically aren't prepared to handle. So it's a learning experience, it's a growth experience. It takes a lot of patience. You always got to remember that there's always hope. Typically your family member can get better. There's a lot of new medications on the market that make it easier for people with mental illness to cope with the illness. Certainly not perfect, but it's getting much better than it used to be. But there's a lot of work still to be done.
The turning point for me from anger to acceptance was actually when I went back to school. I went back to school at 26, and that's something that I kind of gave up during that time when my father was going through these things, because it took a toll on me, and I withdrew from university. So I went back to school, and I started to understand and learn about, mental illness, and I started to explore different avenues, and I learned about art therapy, and I learned about supporting family members. So that's what helped me. That was a pivotal moment for me, that I just needed an avenue to give back, to help. I was so angry, and I think that anger came from not knowing what to do, feeling like my hands were tied. This thing is happening, or this situation is happening, and I didn't know what to do. And that kind of feeling helpless kind of led to this anger, maybe even sadness. I know it was sadness. That those kinds of feelings kind of led to that kind of anger. But then as soon as I found out that a way to kind of help and give back, it changed. It was at that turning point for me towards acceptance.
Because my daughter was 16 when she got ill, so she was still in high school. You have all these dreams. I just didn't have any expectations. I just kind of intuitively went through things with her. I let her talk to me at her own pace. I didn't impose my pace on her. And I was really careful not to take all that medical journal stuff I was looking at and superimpose all these formal, things on her. And it was just, she wrote poems. I read them. She did art. I went to art classes with her. I developed a relationship with my daughter. And based on that, we learned to respect one another. Our love grew. And out of that love and respect grew, she let me support her, and then I've learned a ton from her. The manifest your feelings, that's from her. And she's taught me as much as a parent I could ever teach her.
Once, someone puts confidence in other people and opens up in that way, and they, open up to somebody and the response is positive, things start to turn around for that person. And I've seen it with, a few students I've worked with, that once they start to confide in other people, they realize that, hey, this issue I might be going through, or my family member might be going through, is one that I can cope with if I have the proper supports. And at the end of the day, I'm still a normal person. There are just difficulties in my life, and everybody has difficulties in their life at some point. And I think they get rehumanized, because I think at some point the stigma dehumanizes you. So to put confidence in someone else rehumanizes you. And once you start to care about yourself again, your life kind of starts to fall back into place. The pieces of your life kind of start to come back together.
Can't put a formal name on. There's no scientific school about, the power of unconditional support and love as the turning point for mental health cure for somebody. But my belief is that it's a huge element of providing solid ground where someone goes, I can't believe that no matter what diagnosis you put on me, what medication, what side effects, what I'm going through, what stigma exists, what I've lost in my life, or job or career or money or regard or future projection, that doesn't matter to my dad, or it doesn't matter to my mom or my sister or my brother, whoever that person is. They look at me, they laugh with me, they're there for me no matter what, and they love me no matter what. So you know what? Maybe life's not so bad, and maybe we can together do something and start building back up. And it doesn't have to get to any level specifically, but it can get better. And I think that foundation of regard is really the true cornerstone of the road to recovery.
The support group helped me tremendously, because without the support group, my goodness, I would be in a wilderness and my son wouldn't have gotten any help. But with the support group, I became a strong caregiver and my son is well looked after.
I think giving people hope is a very important piece. So I think that when people in the early stages, they want to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that they may be able, they're going through a hell of a hard time, but they will be able to arrive on the other side intact. And some families even thrive because, as we know, a crisis is a danger, but it's also opportunity for change. And I'm not trying to be Pollyannish about this, but many families do tell those kinds of stories. And I know there'll be one or two in the film which probably will reflect that.
It has been an incredible journey, and it's a journey that will go on for many years. It will have twists and turns. We know we will have ups and downs, but we have experienced how holding on to one another through everything will get us through.